It's from Denmark, and it's one of this year's Oscar nominees for Best Foreign Film. It's a small but wonderful treasure of a movie based on a short story by Isaac Dinesen. That's the same woman whose life and writings provided the inspiration for the movie Out of Africa. The movie tells a simple but very deep story in a spare and elegant form. The story of two sisters in Denmark who devote their lives to prayer and helping the poor, and who have always denied themselves any kind of material joy. All of the young men who once fell in love with them were rejected, but one day, many years later, one of those old suitors sends a French woman to them in Denmark. She's lost her family, this French woman. She's lost her livelihood, and now she simply seeks a humble job.
Si vous ne me prenez pas à votre service, je n'ai plus qu'à mourir.
Oh, non, 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 non. Restez avec nous.
That's Stéphane Audran as Babette, and she serves the sisters faithfully and well until one day, 14 years later, she wins 10,000 francs in the French lottery and asks the two women for a favor.
Jeg vil alene lave festmiddagen på præstens fødselsdag.
Jamen, kæreste Babette, vi har slet ikke til hensigt at give en middag. Nej, min søster og jeg har bare tænkt på et helt beskedent aftensmåltid med en kop kaffe bagefter.
Du ved jo, Babette, vi har aldrig budt vores gæster på andet og mere.
Jeg vil lave en fransk middag.
En fransk middag?
En fransk middag?
The feast itself turns into a war between luxury and devout restraint. The religious guests obviously enjoy the delicious food, but they restrain their praise in an attempt to appear less worldly, all except for one of the guests, an old general, who was once in love with one of the sisters.
Det här är ju blinis Demidov. Det här är bestämt publiko 1860.
Ja. Jeg tror bestemt, vi får sne hele dagen i morgen.
And the feast in this movie and the reaction of the people who have that feast create one of the great sensuous sequences that I can remember in recent films. Babette's Feast is a very subtle movie which begins slowly but needs to begin slowly because in order to understand the secrets at the end of the movie, we first must understand the life that these sisters lead in Denmark and how different it is from the life that Babette herself once knew in Paris. Her gesture in preparing and serving that perfect meal is the same as an artist creating a perfect work of art, and that's exactly how she herself sees it. This is one of those movies that you need to think about and talk about afterwards because the full implications of everything that happens are only apparent after the whole story has been told.
Well, it's an interesting movie because it's called Babette's Feast. It starts out, as you say, very slowly, and you're wondering, where is Babette? Where is the feast? What's it all going to mean? And I think, of course, one of the things that does come across is opportunities gained and lost. The two sisters lose opportunities. Babette is withholding her chance to show what she can do in full flower, and it really represents I suppose, an encouragement of whatever is inside of us to take advantage of what we had. Surely the sisters would have been happier if they had been less restrained in their life, and we see that in the glory of what Babette does.
You know, what I liked about this movie was, unlike most plot-driven Hollywood films in which you go from climax to climax, from character to character, from confrontation to confrontation, this is a whole story. This story is 2 hours long. It's the story of some people, and we learn about them, and we see them, and I was fascinated at every moment in the same way that one would be fascinated by listening to a good storyteller, because you don't know how the story is going to turn out.
One thing they would have done in Hollywood is they would have started with Babette as a chef in Paris. You know that they would have done that. They would have started with a cooking sequence and then tailed it away. This film does surprise you at the end.
Finally, 2 thumbs up for the elegant and fascinating Oscar nominee, Babette's Feast.